G'day, I'm Reg,
And I'm Sam.
and we are S.A.R. Adventures.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I haven't even worked out what day it is or anything. Okay, so today is Thursday, and we are leaving Townsville today and heading to Cairns. So a big thank you to Hayley and Bo for having us.
Oh, we didn't get a photo.
We didn't, I know. Yeah, we've had a really good week here.
Great week. Thanks very much to Hayley and Bo and
The boys.
and the two boys. Yeah. So huge thank you. Great week. Just a great, relaxing week.
And good to catch up and meet.
Yeah, absolutely.
For me,
absolutely.
Family.
And they got to show us, like a little bit around Townsville, which was good.
Yeah. All right, well, we're off to Cairns, so we'll see you there.
Short trip, only 340 k's.
Yeah.
So yeah, Cairns, here we come.
A new place, a new home, for a while, let me feel alive. Nothing to hold me back, take my time, just enjoy the ride.
Good morning, everyone.
Hey.
So in this video, we're going to talk to you about what we got up to in Cairns. So we left Townsville on the 16th of June to go to Cairns, and we stayed in Cairns for a week. We had to go to Cairns on that day because we had the car booked in for a service
The following day.
following day, so we had to make sure that we were in Cairns by the 17th. So we pre-booked all of our excursions, I suppose you call them, like 2 weeks prior to us arriving. So we booked for three different attractions, and the first one we booked for was the Rainforest Station.
Yeah.
We booked that for the time that we were getting the car serviced.
Azuzu said that they'd give us a loan car while mine was in getting service, so we took the loan car up to the Rainforest Station.
In Kuranda.
Yep, that starts with an M.
Hey guys, we're in Cairns, and sorry, not even looking into the camera. And today is Friday, the whatever, I'll put it down the bottom. And we're heading off to the Rainforest Station thing today. We're off to that today, but we're also putting the baby in for a service. She's due, so we're here at Isuzu, I think it's Trinity. Dropping the car off, getting a loan car, and then we're heading up to Kuranda to spend a couple of hours up there. So yeah, see you there. Kuranda, it's a beautiful place, and the drive there is stunning. It's all rainforest and everything.
Spectacular.
But it is very windy, and I got a little bit of motion sickness like the 3 times that we went there. So recommend lollies. Lollies are always good for when you're going up mountains. So we got there early.
Yeah, we got there a little bit early, yeah. So we decided then to go and have a look at the township of Kuranda. Like Sam said, very, very pretty town, very small town. Reminded me a lot of like Mullumbimby and sort of that hippish type community. Yeah, we went and had breakfast at, I can't remember what it was called.
I'll put it in. It was a French. It was like a
crepe.
It was a crepe place.
Yeah. So.
I can't remember. I'll put it down the bottom.
Yeah. So we had breakfast, and then once we sort of finished breakfast, and we went back to the Rainforest Station, and then started the guided tour, which was good. We were in a group of, I don't know, about 20 maybe,
Yeah, the first part wasn't guided though.
Oh no, and they're like their little zoo bit
Yeah,
thing.
so the first you get,
Yeah, sorry.
when you get there and you check in, they give you a map and different times on the map that you're booked in for certain things.
Yes.
So the package included the animal sanctuary, the aqueduct drive, what do you want to call it, and then an Aboriginal cultural session, which included the dance and that sort of stuff. So the first part, when we got there, we were booked in for 10:30 for the animal sanctuary. So yeah, that was a self-guided part.
Yeah, which was really good. They had a good variety of Australian natives. The first things that we saw was the tawny frogmouth owls.
I thought they were fake at first.
Yeah, because they just wouldn't move.
They weren't
but
moving.
no, I just love owls. Very, very pretty birds. But and then there was koalas. There was a little bit of a reptile section where we got to see some snakes and your typical sort of your goannas and your bearded dragons and then up behind the koalas there was a tree kangaroo.
Oh,
I'd never seen one before.
No, me
never
either.
seen one before. Yeah, I knew that they existed, but I'd never seen one before, and it was amazing to see this kangaroo using all four legs to crawl along branches. It was just amazing, and apparently they are the only kangaroo species that can move their hind legs individually. All the others just use them like as a pair for hopping and that, but yeah, tree kangaroos can individually move their hind legs for crawling across branches, and very, very pretty, very furry, like a lot hairier than your traditional kangaroos.
And I was going to say floppier looking, and that sounds weird, but kangaroos seem to be like quite stiff, like their tail's stiff and their legs are stiff, whereas this kangaroo just seemed a bit more relaxed. And you know what I'm trying to say? Floppy.
Yeah. Its tail. I mean, obviously because it's in a tree, its tail just hung like down from the branch. Pretty much like you would see with monkeys and that.
Yeah.
But no, very, very pretty. And then from there, we got to have a look at
some dingoes.
Some dingoes. They were
cute puppy dogs.
The handler was, or one of the keepers was doing a bit of a demonstration feeding these two dingoes and talking about them.
And alpine dingoes are the biggest of all of them, mainly because they live in an alpine area where it's a little bit colder, so they've got a thick coat. So Ned and Kelly here, they're about 6 years old now. You can see Ned walking past us here. Ned is more recognizable because he's got cataracts in his eyes. So you can see his eyes are really, really cloudy. Really doesn't really bother him because he's really familiar with this enclosure, the whole setup and everything. It's basically his home. It's like us. Turn the lights off, we can still find our ways to the bathroom. So otherwise, it doesn't really bother them. It's just an age-related thing.
Which was interesting, and
Yeah.
there was quite a few like little rock wallabies and
Some kangaroos.
and just some little grey kangaroos, and then they had two crocs.
The cassowary.
Oh, okay, yep. Forgot about the cassowary.
Well, I haven't, because I still haven't seen one.
You saw one at the zoo.
In the wild. I've got to see them in the wild for them to be real. But yeah, and then the two crocs.
Yeah, and but one was a freshwater, one was a salty, wasn't it? I think so.
Honestly, I don't remember. I
think one was a freshie and one was a salty, but the salty was huge. And just lying there basking in the sun.
Didn't they have quite a few in one? Like they were laying underneath the walkway area.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They must have been alligators, maybe.
Oh, I can't remember.
Shit, it's been over a week since we were there, and our memory is pretty slack. But there was definitely one huge one. Jack the Ripper. His name was.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Jack the Ripper.
yeah.
He was massive.
Yeah, and then once we sort of finished our little walk around, looking at those, then we made our way up to the Amphibious Vehicles, or the Army Ducks. They're all ex-US World War II. Yeah, so apparently they have 12 of them in service. We were on board number 8, I think it was. And then basically we just had a guide driving the vehicle, and then along this route through the rainforest, and just pulling up and describing different types of natural flora that can be found in rainforests in Australia, and he was saying that that the rainforest, like all the rainforests around Cairns and that, require a minimum of 1 metre of water per year to sustain. Which, when you think about it, I mean, that's a fair amount of water.
That's a lot of water.
So, and that in itself was quite good. You know, he explained, like I said, he explained the different types of flora that we find, and you know, a few of us ex-servicemen would be well aware about, like, the Gympie bush and the Wader Wall. He showed us them. So yeah, again, it was like very good, and the guide was entertaining. You know, he had a bit of a humour side.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good.
It was educational. I learned some stuff. I didn't know. I mean, I don't know where. I just assumed coffee grew as beans, but they grow as berries, like the little red berries.
Yeah, but the bean is inside the berry. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, I just assumed it grew as the bean. I don't know why. Or like in a brown pod, maybe like a pea pod.
Yeah, but no, these were red. Yeah, because apparently this Rainforest Station was originally a coffee plantation.
Yeah.
Back in the 1880 odds, whatever it was. But anyway, so once we completed that, we went over to this like auditorium type place where for Aboriginals, no, 5, sorry, 5. There was one.
Yeah, there was 5.
One
3
playing
dancers,
the didgeridoo, one playing the sticks, and 3 dancers.
Yep.
And they did a variety of different dances.
This next dance we're going to do for you is a mosquito dance. Showing the hunters, they're going out, they're searching for mussels, they get bitten by mosquitoes, they break the branches off the tree to brush the mosquitoes away. We call this one Nuka. Nuka! Warama!
And again, very good. I mean, there was quite a large American touring group that was there, and at the end of their dances and that, they picked four people from the audience. Yeah, 4 people from the audience to get up and have a dance with them, and well, you'll see the footage.
Stand up, look at the line. All right.
Okay, now to make this dance a little bit easier, back, 3 back. First pass, go to the beat, all the way there. Okay, second part, shake a leg, here we go. Okay, the last part, pose. 2 arms out. When they go.
Go, kid. One person, I just don't even know how she can coordinate walking because, like, she just could not, coordinate dancing. I'm telling you. But anyways, and then from there, the dance troupe sort of broke up, and 2 of the dancers took us for boomerang throwing.
Yeah.
Which was interesting. Unfortunately, with Sam's got a bit of tennis elbow at the moment, so she wasn't able to sort of put any power behind her throws.
Hey, I did alright.
You did do alright.
Didn't hit anybody, so that's a win in my books.
You see the opening in the tree as well? Yeah, straight in the gap there. Put that boomerang in the gap.
No, too low.
Too low and... Yeah. More direct, eh? Hey. Bit too much swing. I'll give you one more. More vertical. More vertical.
More straight.
Yeah. That's him. Nice. Nice. Oh. See the difference?
Yeah, mate, yeah. Thank you.
Another person. Yeah.
Oh, you don't need to come. No,
Alright, put it on the one, man. On the one.
It's alright, sweetheart, I'm in cover.
Big stroke, straight over the trees.
There we go.
Deadly stroke. Alright.
Cool.
You see where you release? Yeah. If you throw a bit more to the right, yeah? It should direct back into it. Over on your right. Thank you, sister.
thank you so much.
Thank you, mate.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mummy.
How much more there? A couple more?
So, and then from there we went down and did.
Didgeridoo.
Yeah, the again one of them explained to us where they get or where they choose their wood for the didgeridoo, and then the different mouth movements and the ability to be able to blow out
How the hell?
or exhale out through your mouth and inhale in through your nose at the same time.
I can't inhale
Which
through
was-
my nose at the moment.
Which again was which was really interesting. And then the last thing that the dance troupe did was took us for or showed us spear throwing, which again was really good. I was really surprised at like how far they could throw these spears
Yeah.
with their spear chucker, or the hook that they put on the end of their spear and throw it. Wow, I mean this thing probably went a good 100,
Yeah.
120 metres.
It flew.
It was called Velka. A spear could be thrown like a javelin, or fingertip holding the back. Depending on what you're spearing. If you're spearing jabbing an animal, or throwing a spear. But most common way we use this object here, the spear thrower. We pull the spear thrower melee. The melee make your arm longer arm. If you do it the right way, the force of the spear can go through skin, animal, human. It has a beak that goes into the back end of the spear, see? And you pull back, and you're aiming down the barrel of the spear, putting it on what you're aiming for, your target. Push forward, throw. Using the spear thrower, you throw the spear. Find that the spear is a bit more lethal, more dangerous.
Yeah, so no, it was very good, very good. And then at the end of it, we had a free lunch. Well, it wasn't free. It was a part of the costings, but for $25 a head, which was the extra if you wanted lunch.
It actually wasn't 25 a head. I'm just looking at it receipt now. It was only $30 for the two of us.
Oh, well, that makes sense as to why the food wasn't that flash.
They advertised it as a
Smorgasbord.
smorgasbord, like a Aussie barbecue lunch, and they described it like you had your sausages, you had steak, chicken, salads, roast vegetables, and all. Like it sounded delicious. So we were like, for $15 a head, we'll add it onto our ticket.
Yeah, I mean, I'll certainly eat $15 worth of food.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to say I was disappointed. I didn't enjoy it at all.
Yeah.
But so the total cost for the whole day for the two of us was $136. So that was getting in plus lunch.
All up it took, you know, by the time we finished lunch and then wumbled back out to the car to go home, it was about 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
4 hours from the time that we got there. So, yeah, $136. I mean, it sounds like a lot for the two of us, but for what we got, yeah, it was
a fun day.
I was happy. I was happy with it. Yeah.
And saying that, if we're back in Cairns again, it's not something I would choose to do again. Like, I wouldn't go, oh, that was so good, let's go back and do it again.
Yeah, no.
We've done it now, so tick off the list.
And then went home. I can't remember the name of the caravan park that we were staying at.
Sun Leisure. It was Cairns Sun Leisure.
I know about it.
Oh, I'll put it up.
Yeah.
I'll put it up here.
Then the next morning, we headed up to Kuranda again, because there was a bird sanctuary up there.
Yep.
So, and again, we got to Kuranda reasonably early, about 10:30 in the morning. Went down to the bird sanctuary. It was a little bit hectic at first because there was just like 0 car parks.
There's not a lot of
in pretty much the entire town.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we went. Finally found a car park and went down to the bird sanctuary, and
which again wasn't easy. Like, there's signs to say that it's there, but you have to walk through the market. There's like a little market there.
Yeah, your typical tourist market, you know, selling fluffy kangaroos and shit like that. So, but when we got there, the guy was you know, like where we reported to say that we'd already booked online, and he was really good. He said, you know, like these birds, they're quite cheeky. You know, they'll because I had my hat on, and he said that they'll try and bite the button off the top of the hat. We had our sunnies, and he said they'll try and take the sunnies off you. Sam was wearing her piercings and her chain, and they said that they'll try and bite them. So we basically had to take everything off.
Everything's shiny.
Yeah, and just put it in one of the lockers there, and then go out into the birds. And It wasn't very big.
No.
It was only a small aviary, and when I say small, it was probably maybe
I'm.
50 metres by 50 metres
I
square.
was going to say, have you been to the one at Queen's Park?
Nah,
I think it's about the same size as the aviary at Queen's Park.
not very
Not
big.
very big at all.
But they had everything. There was ringneck parrots, there was king parrots, there was macaws.
Black cockatoos.
Yep. Black
Koalas.
cockatoos. Yeah, it was. And like they'd come down and land on your head and land on your shoulder, a bit like Currumbin, but I mean Currumbin is basically just your lorikeets, but this was like these. I had one come down and land on my shoulder and just wouldn't piss off. Like I had nothing to give it. Not like I know we did.
Well,
you can buy little bags
yeah.
of nuts and that to feed the birds, or birdseed and that to feed them, but we passed on that.
I just picked them up off the ground
Yeah.
for free and fed the birds.
Yeah, and this one just like landed on my shoulder and he just stayed there for like we walked halfway around and he just stayed on my shoulder. And just putting out these loud squawks right in my ear hole. Basically saying, "Feed me, you bastard." But no, it was. I mean, I'm a little bit sort of on the fence with this one. It was very pretty, but was it worth the money? I don't know.
We paid $20 each to get in.
Yeah.
So.
And it took all of
15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, and we were finished.
Stopping and
and it was finished. So, like I said, I was a little bit. I mean, the beautiful birds.
Yeah, they were.
Just the variety was just like awesome.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, on the fence as to whether or not, like, even though it was only $20 each.
Been there, done that, wouldn't do it again.
It just seemed very cluttered.
Yeah.
Like very small with the amount of birds that they had in there. But like I said, beautiful birds.
Yeah.
There was one macaw that just wasn't interested in eating, and Sam
I just
tried.
wanted to feed it. It was so pretty.
For him to eat, but the blue one kept, like, this is the red one that wouldn't eat. But
No, the blue one wouldn't eat.
Oh no, that's right.
The red one kept coming over.
The red one kept coming, yeah.
Yeah, so I fed him a couple of times.
So, but yeah, so when we were finished, we sort of come out, grabbed our stuff out of the locker, and then Sam wanted to go for a walk through the markets. So this is where I said earlier, it reminded me very much of Mullumbimby and like at a very smaller scale, very much like Byron. Yeah, it was. You could smell the herbs in the air, and
it was beautiful. I loved it. Linda would have loved it. My mum would have loved it. I didn't buy anything, but it was just like tiers of walkways.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just all through the rainforest. So
yeah,
it was pretty. With the herbs and the incense burning, and dream catchers hanging up, and and the yin and yang symbol and all that sort of stuff, but pretty town.
Yeah.
Pretty town. And then from there we drove back down the mountain, back into Cairns, like basically into the centre of town, and then went to the Cairns Aquarium.
Yeah.
Bit of a shit fight trying to find a car park, but eventually we found one, and then made our way down to where the aquarium is, and obviously a very popular tourist attraction. There was quite a queue outside waiting to go in and book in, and
yeah.
And then got given a little bit of a map of the aquarium, and then in we went.
Yeah. So the admission gets you in any as many times as you want between 10 and 2. So you get your ticket and you can go in as many times as you want.
Yeah, there's a
That day.
very, very popular restaurant that's right outside it. So, you know, I'd probably assume people would go in,
Have lunch.
come out, have
yeah.
lunch, go back in to have a look for a bit more.
Yeah.
And ridiculously
I was going
priced.
to say, not
place.
us though.
Ridiculously priced. Yeah, so went into the aquarium and it was, again, it was like extremely good. It was very open, like
Yeah.
lots of room
Yeah.
for people to, like massive big viewing glasses for you to, like to the tanks where these fish were. And it started off with like all the estuary systems sort of around far north Queensland. It wasn't just Cairns, but it was, you know, the fish that are located in the estuary systems around far north Queensland. You know, obviously like barramundi, black thumpers, and
What's black thumpers?
there was those black fish. Yeah. But anyway, so
Mangrove jack.
mangrove jack, yeah. And then you sort of made your way around to this like massive big
Fish tank.
yeah, which had all the different types of your freshwater species in there. And to our surprise, there was 3 stingrays.
Yeah.
So we found out later on that they were called the freshwater stingray. Fancy that. So yeah, we had a look at that, and then we started to hit sort of the like the coastal fish, the saltwater coastal fish that you find around far north Queensland. Oh, there was a little bit of a thing on crocs, but I mean it's an aquarium, not a reptile place,
Yeah.
so I understand why there was, like, you know, pretty much nothing there about crocodiles. And then we hit like the huge tank where you walk through a tunnel, you know, and you've got wobbegongs or gummy sharks.
Oh yeah.
And you've got reef sharks, and you've got manta rays and stingrays, and like just swimming over the top of you. It was just amazing.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
It was just amazing, yeah. And it was, and it, like, again, there's just something majestic about it. You could sit there and stare at it for hours.
Yeah.
But then there was also a big section on the reefs. Your different corals that are found on the barrier reef. Jellyfish, you know, like
Seahorses.
and there were seahorses, yeah, like
Turtles. That was before. That was near the reptile stuff. Lots to see and do there anyway. I think that was my favourite out of all the
out of the 3 that we
trips
did.
Yeah.
Out of the 3 that we did at Cairns, yeah, the aquarium was up there at number 1 for me as well.
Yeah.
So I don't think that was cheap.
It wasn't too bad because we got concession.
Okay.
I think it was like $35 each.
Yeah,
So
and it was
not too bad.
It was like brilliant.
Well worth it. And
Brilliant.
and that's something I would go back and do again if we were, you know.
Well, yeah, that's right.
Because we could go sit there for hours just staring.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So and then that was it.
So
We,
yeah, that took 2 days and we stayed there for a week.
Yeah, we stayed there for 7. I mean, originally we were only there for 4, but we just discovered that there was so much to do in and around Cairns that the 4 days just wasn't going to cut it. We needed more. So
Yeah. And we kind of decided that we're going to do that more often too, stay in places longer
yeah,
and just take it all in. But we did do some other things that we're going to leave
for the next like
video.
part 2, Cairns part 2. Because like I said, there was a lot to do in Cairns, and as far as I'm concerned, in the entire trip so far, Cairns
Had the
is,
most, yeah.
Cairns was. Don't get me wrong, Hayley. I really loved our visit and spending time with you. But Cairns is just spectacular with what they've got to offer in and around the town or the
Yeah,
city.
and we didn't do things like,
You know,
because
like,
Cairns is known for like your big, like your snorkeling and that sort of stuff, isn't it? Like the reef. We didn't do anything like that. We also didn't do the sky rail or the steam train.
no, because you'd already done
Yeah,
it.
I did that last year when I went with Linda,
And I wasn't really interested, so
so we didn't repeat it
yeah, we didn't worry about doing it again.
because they're expensive as well.
Oh, yeah, filthy expensive. So, basically that's it.
Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, like and subscribe. And
Thumbs
we'll
up.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
We got here then.
Thursday 30
Of what?
to our trip.
Oh, it's not.
Oh, no, it's not.
It's
Today's day 39.
I was gonna say it's 29th today, so anyway. I don't even bother saying that anymore. I lost count. I keep saying aqueduct. Is it the same thing? It's not.
What,
Doesn't-
aqueducts?
Is aqueduct the same as an army duck?
Oh, I assume so.
Good for you, baby.
Hell yeah.